I'm simply Mike. Welcome to the Definitive Yo-Yo. In this episode, I'm speaking directly to you, the brand new player that doesn't know much about yo-yoing at this point. You don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes. So that's what this video series is about. It's a 6-part series where I talk about 3 plastic yo-yos and 3 metal yo-yos that I think would be great for a brand new player. I've seen a few players enter this hobby and they usually have the same 2 questions on their mind. 1, where do I learn tricks from? Well, that's kind of easy. You can either get information, a downloadable checklist from Yo-Yo Expert, or they have a card that they can mail to you as well, where you just mark off and learn tricks in the order that they present. Or 2, yoyotricks.com or Throwback Skill Toys. There's a few hundred videos on their website where you can mark your progression and make moving forward. Pretty easy. The second question is this: what yo-yo do I get? Now, that's a little bit more difficult to answer because yo-yos are pretty subjective. You'll find out pretty quickly. But we also need to have a start point. So I have this first video dealing with what I think is one of the best starting yo-yos that's available. So have a look-see and then we'll proceed. Also remember, if you don't want to miss any of it, click like, subscribe, and join the conversation. I'll see you on the other side. Pretty basic and a simple presentation, but that's exactly what you need for this launching point. Welcome to it. This is the Definitive Yo-Yo. In today's video, we're talking your first step into a larger world. Again, this is part 1 of 6. And today's yo-yo is the Fizz by Throwback Skill Toys, aka yoyotricks.com. Modern yo-yo involves terminology, factors, and mechanics that you are unfamiliar with. There's plenty of time to learn that, but it can be a little overwhelming in the beginning. Here's a little peek at what modern yo-yo involves. Complicated string tricks, a little hopping, a little slack action, things of that nature. And the modern yo-yo itself is a precisely engineered piece featuring aircraft-grade aluminum or sometimes even titanium at $300 or more a pop. There are friction-reducing bearings, a braking system and mechanism, increased quality, making the yo-yos precisely balanced and very nearly vibeless. What does all this engineering mean? Well, we get better spin times, better accuracy, and just a better experience overall. But before we get to that, we got to start with the basics. The Fizz yo-yo is 1 or 2 steps above the dollar store, big box store yo-yos that only allow you to do 1 or 2 tricks. It is pretty basic, as I mentioned before, but it's a good basic. And there are a couple of features that make this particular yo-yo stand out a little bit over the rest. But we'll talk about that in a little while. In the meantime, what you want is something that's a little simplified. You may already know about DNA and finger spins, but this yo-yo isn't going to allow for that. As mentioned, this is from Throwback Skill Toys, aka Yo-Yo Tricks. There's promotional video on their website. Now later you'll learn about different yo-yo shapes, but for now, we're just breaking it down to 2. The slim yo-yo profile for looping tricks, and then our wedge profile for string tricks. This yo-yo, the Fizz, combines both shapes so that you can get a little bit of both styles of play. The inside wall is high enough so that you can do a little looping, but it's also wide enough so that you can do a little string tricks, both of which are demonstrated here. One underrated feature is that this thing is low maintenance and low worry. The only thing you need to worry about is a couple of tricks and getting started. You don't need to know about loop problems, response problems, or string problems. You just get in, start throwing it, start learning. And here are a few of the colors. Check the stats. Now I'll call the shape a hybrid because it blends both, as we mentioned. And at $12, that is not a bad investment for your first yo-yo. Good stuff. What makes this yo-yo ideal for you as a new player is that this thing can help you gain consistency. See, you're too new to identify string problems, bearing problems, or those loop problems that I mentioned earlier. So what you need is a yo-yo that's just going to keep going while you learn your craft. And that's what this yo-yo is good for. There was a problem that I encountered while getting this yo-yo. The string is way too short. Seems like it's made for children. But other than that, not too bad. Walking the dog, Eiffel Tower, rocking the baby, brain twister. All of these tricks can be done with little to no problem on this yo-yo. But don't get too happy. And there are contemporaries like the Yo-Yo Factory 1, the Crystal by Magic Yo-Yo, the First Base by Recess, the Replay, the K1 by Magic Yo-Yo, the Rebrand by Rain City Skills, and the Atom Smasher. But that is a little more advanced. We'll talk about that another time. And unfortunately, there are a few limitations to this yo-yo, like its entry level. So the biggest limitation on it is the spin time. There are a couple of balance issues, like it turns on a bad throw. The novelty of this thing can wear off pretty quickly. And unfortunately, the strings that it came with were pretty bad. They wore out in a relatively short time, so extras was needed pretty quickly. One other caution that you need to be aware of is that this thing can come back aggressively and suddenly while you're working out a trick. You might want to chalk that up to the cost of doing business. But as you grow in your yo-yo collection and skill, you won't have to worry about it coming back on you too much, too often, or too frequently. Honestly, this yo-yo is easy to bypass. I was already in the hobby long before this thing got released, but it's still a credible option despite the fact that there are other yo-yos out here available to you. And like I've said before, this will get the job done. And that's because this yo-yo is specifically designed to get you through the first 10 yo-yo tricks. They say 10, but it's actually closer to 15. And this yo-yo will definitely help you achieve that goal. But, like I said before, it will wear out its welcome pretty quickly. The goal for this video and yo-yo is to keep it basic. But who wants to stay basic? We want to keep making progress, and the next video and the next yo-yo will help us do that pretty good. That'll be for next time, which will be up in a few minutes. So, I was trying to make an all-black version of this yo-yo by buying two and swapping the caps out, but a funny thing happened on my way there. We'll talk about that in the next video. In the meantime, this has been the Fizz Yo-Yo Review, a nice production by yoyotricks.com or Throwback Skill Tours, whichever strikes your fancy. This yo-yo was designed for someone who absolutely has no experience with yo-yo. But if you got a little bit of experience, check out what we get into with the next situation. Alrighty then, I'm Simply Mike, and I will catch you guys out in the next video. Stick around. Don't trip. Stick around. Alright y'all, peace.